This episode is going to introduce the concept of function overloading. We're going to see how we can have multiple functions with the same name and how the compiler decides which function to use at runtime. So without wasting any time, let's start code. Alright, so the concept of function overloading allows us to essentially have functions with the same name, right? Just different parameters or different order of parameters or even different number of parameters, right? So we're going to see how that works. So essentially what I did here, I just created three functions that are essentially doing the similar tasks, right? It's just the difference is the input that they're receiving, right? So you see how we had to be specific with the naming, right, to essentially show what this function is doing, right? We'll see how we can actually turn all these three functions, right, into something that is we can make them share the same name, right, but depending on the number of parameters or the type of parameter, right, our compiler is essentially going to be able to choose from there, right? So we don't have to be explicit in terms of the naming, right? So we'll see how that works in a second, right? Let's just go ahead and see these three functions, right? So we're saying we created a function that adds two integers. We can see that its return type is integer, and also the input is essentially two integers, right? And then we just create another one for double, which essentially does a similar thing just with decimal values. And then this one is a bit different, but it's also adding, it just adds three parameters in this case, right? So let's just go ahead and compile this and see how it works, right? Alright, so what I did is I just took a shortcut. I'm not going to store the values that are returned in a variable. I'm just going to straight up print them, right? So that's essentially what I did. So for the first call, we're essentially just going to pass 2 and 4 in this function right here, right, this one, and then we're just going to pass 1.1 and 4.4 in this function, right, and then 2, 4 and 7 in this function. Remember, it expects 3 parameters, right? So let's just go ahead and compile that. All right, once that compiles, let's just go ahead and run our code, right? So we can see that essentially this task are doing what they were they're tasked to do, right? We can see that the value of 2 plus 4 indeed gives us 6, and all the other ones actually also do what they're supposed to do, right? So there's no real problem with this code, right? But we're going to show how we can actually write cleaner code. So instead of having multiple names for variables, right, we can have one name, right? In this case, we can have one name, right? We're going to go ahead and create a variable, or rather a function called add, right? So this function, what it's going to do is take in two parameters, right? Two integer parameters, right? X and Y. And it's just going to return the sum of those parameters, right? So this, as we can see, this function over here looks very familiar to this one, right? It is essentially the same thing, right? It does the same thing. These two functions do the same thing, right? So let's just go ahead and see how we can actually implement function overloading, right? So we said that function overloading allows us to have the same name for essentially functions with the same name for functions with different parameters or different number of parameters, right? Let's just go ahead and do that. So we can go ahead and create another function, right, called add, still the same thing, add, and we're just going to have two parameters, x and y, and then we're just going to return the sum of the two, right? So essentially we have the same function, right? So we can see when I highlight this, it does indeed just highlight that, right? So we can see that now we have the same function, right? But what is going to happen is that when we pass in our values, right, the compiler is going to decide which function to use depending on the type of values the type of values that we are passing in, right? So if we pass in doubles, right, I just want to create one more function before we can actually do that. Let me just go ahead and create int add. Just gonna have x set and return the sum of that. Right, so we have created another function called add. I just used the wrong. Right, so we're going to see how this is very similar to this, but this is essentially cleaner code, right? So Once we have written this, we say that we're just going to leave everything in the in the hands of the compiler, right? So meaning that the compiler is going to decide, depending on what we have passed in, right, which function to use, right? So when we call add, right, let's just go ahead and call add, right? So depending on the the values that we pass in, the compiler is going to decide which of these add functions to use. So let's just go ahead and pass in the value of 1, rather let's go 4 and 6, right? I just want to quickly output that. Right, let's just get rid of these functions. Right, so when we compile, the function that is going to be called, essentially in this case, it is going to be this one, right? Let's just go ahead and compile it and see that indeed it works. Right, so we do get, what did I add? Oh, 4 and 6, right? Yeah, so we do get the value 10, right? So the function that was called was this one, right? So that's essentially how function overloading works. So if we were to go ahead and pass in an extra value 8, we do not have to be specific which add function we are using. The compiler is going to automatically know that since now we have added an extra parameter, right? Essentially, it's going to use this one, right? It's not going to use this one because the number of parameters are no longer aligning, right? So essentially, it's going to automatically use this one, right? So let's just go ahead and compile it. Right, so we can see that the addition of 8 just essentially, remember we had 10 here and then just 8, right? So that's essentially how function overloading works. The compiler at runtime is going to decide which function to use depending on the number of parameters, right? So let's just go ahead and use the double, right? Let's just go pass in 4.1 and 3.0, right? Just go ahead and do that. Right, so we can see that the value is 7.1, right? We do not have to be explicit about which function we're essentially using. The compiler generally knows which function to use, right? All right, so what are some of the rules that we need to be aware of when dealing with function overloading, right? So suppose I went ahead and created another add function, right, with a parameter y, the first parameter being integer y, and the second parameter being integer x, right? So let's just go ahead and return the sum of the two, right? So this does not count as function overloading. The reason being is that, remember, function overloading, they have to have the same name but different parameter number of parameters or different parameter types, or the order of the parameter types must be different, right? So in this case, just because we swapped x and y around does not necessarily mean that these become different, because this is just a naming of the variable within this scope, right? But it is performing the same thing, right? And essentially, remember, it is the same data type, right? And it is performing the same operations, right? So when we call this will be essentially very ambiguous, because this is literally the same function. We have created the same function. We haven't necessarily changed anything, right? So that's something we need to be aware of, right? Another thing that we need to be aware of is the default values, right? So default values in function overloading become a bit ambiguous. Let's just go ahead and create another value z and give it the value y, 1, right? So this becomes a problem. Why? Because when the function is called, right, and we can see that already Visual Studio Code is highlighting that, right? So when the function is called, both of these match the description. Remember, the compiler, what is going to do is essentially go and look for the function that matches the description, right? In this case, both of these match the description. Why? Because remember how we align default values, right? We see that this one goes here and this one goes here, right? And then, so essentially this matches, right? We are fine there. And then we see another function. So it's going to look at all the functions before it can decide, right? So we see that this one can go here, right? This two can go here, right? And then by default, we already have z, so we don't necessarily have to pass it in, right? So we can see how that becomes ambiguous to the compiler. It does not necessarily know which function to decide for, right? So that's something we need to be aware of when we're dealing with default values, right? They can sort of shift how we look at our function overloading, right? So that's essentially how we need to some of the rules that we need to be aware of when we're dealing with function overloading, right? So another thing that we can also be aware of is that if I went ahead and said double x, right, then this is where we can see that these become different functions, right, because of the data type, right, the data type of the variable, right. So that's very important. The data type becomes different. But if I went ahead and said double here, again we run into a situation whereby this is the same function. Even if it has the different naming variables, it is the same function, right. But if we went ahead and swap this, let's just go ahead and swap that. All right, so this becomes two different variable types, rather not variable types or functions, right, because of the order in which we put the data types, right. So when we call it, it becomes two different functions, right, so in which the compiler can decide from, right. So those are the things that we need to be aware of when we're dealing with a function overloading, right. So we have come to the end of this episode. If you really enjoyed this, you can go ahead and leave a like and subscribe not to miss any releases. Otherwise, cheers.